The NC State Wolfpack strolled into the Yum Center on Monday night, but little did they know it was Wolf that was on the menu.
You are Locked On Wolfpack, your daily podcast on the NC State Wolfpack, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Wolfpack Nation? It's time to get locked in with Locked On. Thanks for making Locked On Wolfpack your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network, your team every day. Our Monday postgame/Tuesday episode is brought to you by Mazda. Mazda puts that same drive into each and every detail. Wins define the moment, putting in the work that defines you. Stay tuned for highlights in this week's Mazda moving the game forward. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you. What's up, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome to your Monday evening post-game live. This will also serve as the Tuesday episode. As always, I am Grayson Boone, joined by former Wolfpack defensive tackle Kenton Gibbs. There was a basketball game played on Monday night, 118-77. We did not have the 118 in this instance. Sometimes we're doing the Florida Stating, and sometimes you get Florida State Ed. And, we talked about Louisville's a really good team. Kenton said literally on the Monday show, they've shown this year that when they win big. And, well, we had to find out the hard way here on the road on Monday night. But a 41-point loss, not much went right for us, especially once you got into closer to halftime. We made it close for a hot second there, and then Louisville pulled away, and, they never looked back. Louisville had two players, only two, that finished in double digits, but those digits were 45 and 31. An offensive explosion in our face, and I think the best way I can kind of describe this, if y'all used to watch Wile E. Coyote in The Road Runner, whenever the Coyote he started to feel himself, started to get confident that he was going to have some Road Runner, he went and pushed down on the TNT and exploded in his face. That was NC State tonight. And so that's not exactly the ideal scenario. Many of us were very excited for this game tonight. I was excited all day for this. And then you basically get pantsed on national television. You take a gigantic pie to the face, 41-point loss on the road. Kenton, what are the vibes right now?
I hate to say this. I really hate to say this. I knew this was coming.
I had a feeling myself.
I knew this was coming. Not only is it like they were due for a stinker kind of thing, but like I said on Saturday, they have the college version of a back-to-back. Nobody is good in these things. Prime example, let's look at the team that put belt to our behind in this game, right? When was the last time they had this thing that is, similar to a back-to-back where it's, a Saturday game and then a Monday game? Obviously, they did it now where they played Wake Forest and then they played us today. Don't get me wrong, not dismissing that. But I'm saying as the team going on the road in that situation, it puts you in a very, very tough situation. And again, if you look at, the last time that this was asked of Louisville and they were going on the road, they played Virginia Tech, won by 14, and then they played Duke and lost by 31 the following Monday in Cameron. You know what I'm saying? Like it's this college version of a back-to-back is always tough to navigate to begin with. But then you go on top of that and say that we were playing as well as we were for as long as we were. I mean, when we were talking about what we thought would happen in the next few games before this even happened, I said, hey, this is probably going to be one that – and when we talked about this game on Saturday, I said, hey, Louisville will run you out the gym. They will run you out the gym if you let them. And, I thought that it was going to be a whole team effort. They had two players score exactly 1 point less than the Pack. From two players alone. Ultimately, this was an embarrassment. I make no excuses for this. I'm not saying, oh, yeah, just because you had the college version of a back-to-back, you should get blown out. Because as I already stated, Louisville is doing the same thing. They're just the team that's at home. They played at Wake Forest on Saturday? Where did they play on Saturday?
At Wake. Yeah.
Yeah, so they played at Wake, and then they come home and play this game. This is it's no excuse to lose by 40. No excuse to lose by 40. And the thing is, what we saw in this game was what we have seen all year, right? We turn guys who are like, oh, he's a slightly above average scorer, into a whole nother world of like, oh my God, where did this come from? Lord forbid if your best shooter gets hot, all of a sudden we can't do anything with you. And then let's add in the worst part of this. NC State's been the best three-point shooting team in the ACC. You combine the fact that your defensive limitations are clear and present, and they're very visible. You combine that with a 4 of 22 shooting night, and we don't even want to talk about the rebounding disadvantage because that's been a thing all year. We've won plenty of games where we were losing the rebound battle. So, it is this game to me, and I talked to Grayson about this before we got on there. I liken this to when NC State baseball got plastered by Arkansas a couple years ago. They got destroyed. Arkansas took them out to the woodshed and beat them like they stole something. Fortunately for the Pack, there was still an entire series left.
Yeah,
I'll say the same thing for this basketball team. This was an embarrassing showing. Defensively, slow. We were playing like we were slew-footed out there. No disrespect to anybody that's differently able, but we were playing like we just could not close out to save our lives. We were playing like the rotations meant nothing. We were playing like when that ball came off the rim after one of the few times that we got there two players that were inferno hot to miss, we were playing like it meant nothing. And so you combine that lack of urgency and effort with an inability to shoot tonight, and you get what you get. Grace and I always say, everything has to stem from the effort for this team, and everything will work itself out. I didn't see that effort out there tonight. I did not see the level of effort that I saw against Virginia Tech, even though I believe Virginia Tech beat us on the boards too. Did they not?
Off the top of my head, I think we controlled that one.
Okay. Either way you cut it,
it's been a consistent problem, though, yeah.
But either way you cut or slice it, you could see an effort to front their guys. You could see an effort to play with guys that were more physical. We just didn't see it. And again, somebody in the comments just talked about the defense from Trey Holloman. Have we not talked about that all year? Did I not say that stop on Boopy Miller was nothing short of darn near an act of God? I'm surprised that it happened. So ultimately, this game, I mean, it's a blowout. You never want to. It hurts. It hurts to lose by 40. Nobody ever wants to take a 40-point loss on the chin. But the reality is that is the experience of the 2025-2026 NC State men's basketball team. The ability to beat teams by 40, the ability to lose to teams by 40. It's a tale of two cities. It's the best of times. It's the worst of times all at once.
Yeah, look, and I'm going to shoot you right down the middle here. Well, first I'm going to show you a meme. This is exactly what it felt like tonight for NC State. We were the Coyote. We feeling confident, 6 in a row. Man, we've been beating people on the road. Why can't we go on the road and beat Louisville? They're a great team. We've been playing good. We get a little confident. And then, you play with a stick of dynamite and it blows up in your face. But listen, here's the thing about this, right? It's like, are you right to feel upset about getting pantsed on national television? Yeah, because it was embarrassing. And regardless of win or loss, you wanted to be competitive in this game. Louisville's a good team. Louisville's a team that's, they're likely to finish probably in the top couple notches of the ACC conference. So if you're NC State, you want to be able to compete with that consistently. You want to show that you belong in that facet. And tonight we certainly did not belong, certainly in any facet of this game. We talk about shooting, rebounding, hustle, like all of it. Got outplayed, out-hustled, out-coached, the whole shebang. And Coach Wade said as much in the post-game comments. But look, the other half of this thing is like Kenton's analogy for NC State baseball back in 21, losing game one of that super regional on the road to Arkansas 21-2. It's only one game, right? If you come back home and you handle business against Miami, who's vying to be a tournament team, that's going to be a great win. That's going to be a quad one win. Then you got the Dirty Foot Club right behind them. That's another quad one opportunity. So look, I'm not sugarcoating this loss, but I'm struggling to get like overly upset about it. It kind of just is what it is. Like, to be completely honest, Louisville hit 18 threes tonight. Now, was our defense excellent? No, I wouldn't say that. But you also had Michael Brown hitting them from the damn parking lot for many of these. He hit 10 of 16 threes. He's pulling up from half court, pulling up from the sidelines, pulling up from the other side of the state of Kentucky. When a guy is that talented, and again, this is Michael Brown, who's probably like a lottery pick. So a fringe NBA already talent here. And again, does that excuse our defense? No. But they have good players too. They want to win this game too. Louisville was the desperate team in this. They wanted this game more than we did. And I think that more than maybe anything else, that really showed up tonight. So am I overly concerned about this loss? I wouldn't say overly concerned. I mean, some of the same flaws in our defense were evident again. And so that kind of raises a brow. It's like, we haven't really seen this that much in our 6-game win streak. When we're playing a team with this type of caliber, is this kind of, are we going to fall back into the same habits? I guess we'll have to find out when we play more good teams down the stretch. So look, it's certainly irritating that you get blown out on the road. This is a big game. It was a big opportunity. And to get completely pantsed, like I said, on national television, it doesn't sit well right now. But, you know, at the end of the day, were we due for a loss? I guess you could say that. Like I said, Louisville's a good team. This was going to be a tough game coming in. The two of us actually picked Louisville to beat us in this game. So there comes a point where you kind of just tip your cap and you keep it pushing. Louisville's a good team. They wanted this game more than we did. We came out flat, and that's not really something you can survive a lot of times when you're playing a team like they are. So, look, again, a 41-point loss doesn't feel great. It's not the end of the world. There's more work to be done, and we'll certainly talk more about this on the other side of an ad break. So stick with us here. Talk more about some of the inner workings of this game, where it went really wrong for NC State, and some of the encouraging signs you saw, especially there in the second half. I thought there was some times where we could have quit and rolled over, and, you know, there were some times that we did, but a couple of players kind of, you know, they noticed, or I noticed a couple things in the play despite the game getting out of hand. We'll talk more about that after a quick word from our sponsors. Our first Monday evening post-game read is Mazda. This is Mazda's moving the game forward. For those who show there's more to the score than just what's on the screen. To be completely honest, it's hard to pick a player for NC State, but I guess I'll go with Lubin. He had 20 points tonight, 6 rebounds, 7 of 10 from the floor. He always shows that motor, that tenacity, and for good reason. He is one of Will Wade's favorite players because he never gives up. He puts in the hard work, and he shows that dedication despite what the score may read. For Mazda, they put that same approach into each and every detail. It's the extra work that matters off the court to make it really count on it. Dialing in every detail, giving it that extra fire. Mazda puts that same passion into each and every model. Highlights make the reel. What it takes to get there makes it count. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you. Our second Monday post-game live read, where's my title? There it is Wayfair. The new year has already come and gone, but it's still the perfect time to reset your routine and refresh your space. If you're spending more time at home, you might as well love how that home looks and feels. That's why you should turn to Wayfair. It's a one-stop shop to getting your home back on track. From bedding to mattresses to storage solutions for every room, Wayfair makes it easy to start the year fresh. Wayfair has everything you need for a full home refresh all in one place. Whether you're updating your living room, organizing your space, or upgrading your work-from-home setup, Wayfair's huge selection makes it easy to find exactly what works for your style and your budget. Get organized, refreshed, and back on track with Wayfair for way less. Head on over to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's Wayfair, Wayfair, wayfair.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. All right, middle portion of our post-game live here, 118-77. Yuck. Does not look good on paper. Didn't feel good, obviously, watching the game either. But some bright spots in this game, and heavy emphasis on the word some, because there were few. Like I said, Lubin in this game, despite, in large portions of this game, the score being out of hand, I saw a lot of determination from Lubin. Regardless, again, this game was getting out of hand even early, early. And I knew once Darian missed the first couple shots and Louisville's running down the floor and just getting virtually like anything they wanted, whether it's an open three or cutting the basket for an easy layup, I'm like, we might be in for something that's not too great tonight. And it turned out to be the case. But through all of that, Van Lubin was a leader through his play on the court. He did finish with 20 and 6. He got to the foul line more than anyone else on the team, so was able to be physical there in the paint. I also thought Trey Holloman was pretty good for us tonight. He had 19 points, 7 of 13, 4 of 4 at the foul line. That second half, especially when this game was out of hand, what did you see Trey Holloman do repetitively? Getting to the bucket, drawing a foul, and then converting the and one. It's so easy to just run back down the floor and jack up a three because it's like, man, we're down 40 points. I'm already thinking about the post-game meal. We got to fly back and probably get an earful from Wade on the plane. I'm not trying to have the rest of this game here. But I thought especially Val and Trey Holloman, they played through everything. I was impressed with some of their effort down the stretch.
Grayson, you're a better man than me because
we'll get into it, but I'm getting the good out of the way first.
I can't find anything good about this game.
Yeah,
you want to talk about Will Wade giving these guys an earful on the plane back home? If I was on that plane, I better be able to hear a mouse pissing on a cotton ball. You understand me? Like that's how silent that plane should be. A 40-point loss?
Yeah.
And here's a very interesting fact. In not a single one of our losses this year, not one time, have we won the rebounding battle. Not one. So when people say, well, Kenton and Grayson aren't really basketball guys, and they keep harping on this rebounding thing, sometimes shots need to fall. There seems to be a correlation, eh? Not a single loss all year have we won the rebounding battle. And the couple of losses that were really close, for example, Kansas in overtime, we lost the rebounding battle by about 2 rebounds or so. In this game, even if nobody except their starters got rebounds, we would have only won by 3. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. We can acknowledge, hey, Louisville was hot as fish grease. Absolutely. But even and we can also acknowledge that our shots weren't falling. Absolutely. But even on a night like that, you can keep it, I wouldn't even say respectable. You can keep it within 40. You can keep it within 40. You got scholarship guys too. You got guys making NIL money too. You got guys in those Matthews Motors, they're the walking man's friend commercials too. Okay? So how, this was one of those games that I look at and I say, it's only one game. Yes, it's only one game. But I think that this is the game that Will Wade should point to for the rest of the year. If you get too big for your britches, if you start reading the rap boys, and if you start saying, oh, man, I'm the player of the week. I'm the ACC player of the week. Yeah, we got the ACC player of the week. By the way, congratulations to Quadir Copeland for being named ACC player of the week last week. But this is what you're congratulated with. Averaging 13 assists coming into this game, right? 13 assists per game last week coming into this game. How many were in this game, Grayson?
10.
As a team, for Quadir were 3.
3.
So as a team, we averaged less, or we had less assists than Quadir averaged by himself last week. Yeah, this is the game. This is the game that if I'm Will Wade, don't get me wrong, I don't think you should harp on this and hang on to this for too long because I don't think that you should tell your guys this is who you are. But I think that this is what you should – whenever guys start to get a little I don't really want to close out the day. I'm a little it's tough today. Me and my girlfriend going through things. It's Valentine's Day. I don't feel like playing Miami today. This is the thing that you go back to and say, when you start getting too big for your britches, when you start believing that I am infallible and I can forget the details, I am infallible and I don't have to throw a body on somebody meaningfully to rebound. We are so good that we're going to go on a winning streak and whatever happens in between doesn't matter. I'm not saying that this team is bad. I'm not saying that this team is terrible. I'm not saying that Louisville is a mid team. I'm not going to say that Louisville's a really good team. Yep. Despite what they've done in conference play, they are a really good team. There's a reason that despite how bad they've been in conference play, they're one of the ranked teams in ACC. They were playing bananas to start the season off. But the reality is when you come out with no heart, no hustle, no effort, and the shot don't fall. If you come out with all those other things, if you control what you can control and the shots don't fall, you may lose the game, but it's close. You may lose the game, but you're in the game. This game felt like it was over at about the 8-minute mark. This game felt like, I'm like, oh, man, boy, if we don't get things turned around quickly, this is it. This is over. By the time we reach halftime, I say, yeah, this is what I was warning about. Louisville will run you out the building if you let them. And to say we got ran out the building, I mean, I don't know if all of y'all are familiar with Showtime at the Apollo, but the Sandman had the broom. He had the broom in the Yum Center, pushing us on in the locker room because there was nothing but womp-womps for the Pack tonight.
Yeah, going back here in that first half, I had to find where it really broke the camel's back. So we were down about 9 points. We picked up a couple steals. Not Van Allen, Matt Abel had a couple steals. We talked about his ability to read the passing lanes. Had a couple big steals for us, led to some big buckets. Quadri Copeland had a massive dunk to bring us back within 5. And we had some energy. We were popping guys off the bench. Will Wade was all fired up. It's like, okay, maybe we're able to right this ship. Perhaps we've come to play tonight. Since that point, Louisville went on I think it was like a 13-0 run or a 12-0 run. And it's like, okay, yeah, maybe never mind. And from that point, we were chasing that until it got ballooned out to 20, 25, 30, and then 40 plus there in the second half. It just got snowballed over on us really fast. And something that I found in this game, and it's kind of the same complaint that I saw. When was that? I think it was the SMU game there in the first half. We were sped up. We looked like we were frazzled, just kind of frantically trying to find the open man, take the right shot at the right time. And I wasn't loving some of the shot selection that we were walking into. We had multiple transition threes. We still had 3 guys on the other side of the court. And we're launching a 3 with 22 on the shot clock. It's catching back iron, and Louisville's got 4 guys just camped under the basket for the rebound. I know we're a run and gun team, and yeah, it's great when you bury those against Florida State. It's great when you bury those against Wake Forest. But if you're going to take those, you better hit them against Louisville, because if you don't, you're getting blown over or blown out, whatever you want to call it. They will take advantage of that every single night. And again, I'm not criticizing the offense was a total failure. No, it wasn't. But you got to be smarter when you play a team like Louisville. They are super athletic. We told you yesterday, the bench is super deep. They have 10 different guys that can throw in and feel comfortable when they're on the court at any given time, even though they basically only needed 2 to beat us tonight. And that was ridiculous in itself. But I don't think, Will Wade in the postgame said that he didn't have the team prepared. I don't know if I quite buy into that. But it's like they weren't really prepared for what happens if we get punched in the mouth a couple times. It seemed like once that happened, all bets were off. It's like, oh, God, okay, well, on the road, yep, this might be the scheduled loss for us. I guess we'll see y'all next week. And then from there on out, it felt like the effort went way down, the intensity went way down, the execution very clearly, it went way down, and Louisville just kind of ran away with it. So I think that's where a lot of the frustration comes from. It's like, man, y'all couldn't keep it within 15, 20. Louisville's a good team, and when they play games like tonight, they could be a great team. But they're not 41 points better than us. I don't believe that. But on a consistent basis, I don't know if I buy that.
But that's why I believe what Will Wade said. That's why I believe what Will Wade said, and that's why I agree with him in terms of I didn't have the guys ready, because at the end of the day, the same way that I say Will Wade deserves credit for everything that this team does in a positive direction, you assembled the team. You put this team together. You got them ready. Whatever sets we ran, you were the one that called it. Whatever improvising we did, you saw it in practice and said, I like that. We're going to keep that in. Well, the same way that I say Will Wade is our coach in good times, and we're going to give him all of the praise and adulation for that, I'm also going to give you a little bit of criticism when we're getting ran out of the gym and we're giving up the same things that we always have. I mean, we're talking about 60% from 3 here. So if we're talking about, and here's the other thing, and again, I'm, even though I did push back on Grayson saying, there's the good things, here's what I will say about the season overall, and this is a good thing, right? Will Wade said top 4 in the ACC and tournament bid. Have we fallen out of contention for either one of those things because of this game?
No. Newsflash, everybody. We still got 6 games left in the regular season. Season's not over.
What I will say is Will Wade has the path for what he said that this was going to be. The problem is when you play as well as this team has over the past couple of weeks, the expectations start raising amongst the fan base.
Yeah.
And Wolfpack Nation, I'm not saying you're wrong for expecting more. Hell no, you should have moments.
Supposed to expect more. Yeah.
Exactly. We should have moments like this. But the reality of it is this team has the deficiencies that they have. Mm-hmm. This team has perimeter defense. If your name ain't Arsenal or Abel, I'm not sure if I can trust you out there. And then if you talk about perimeter defense, well, what's the only thing that can cure a not so great perimeter defense, Grayson? What's the only thing defensively that you could say that might make up for it?
Forcing turnovers?
Well, yes, that's a possibility. But another thing is an eraser at the rim. Do we have one of those? Do we have us one of those guys that, you go ahead and beat Trey Holloman. He's going to be waiting on you. Big fella going to be waiting on you. You know, when Manny Bates was healthy, right? BJ Anya, before he found out the miracles of cookout. I'm joking, BJ. You know you're my boy. But, that type of deal. We didn't have that. And so you're stuck in a position to where you're saying, okay, I hope that everything goes well. I hope that we defend well. I hope that we shoot the ball well. I hope. But as Will Wade told us, hope is a bad strategy.
Yeah.
And so I 1,000% agree with him. You did not have the guys ready to go tonight, Will. It's one thing for them to lose. It's another for them to get their doors blown off and for them to just look like, oh, well, we lose. It happens sometimes. By a 40-piece? Yikes.
Yeah, so as I said, Louisville shot 60% from the floor, 60% from 3. They were 18 of 30. And yeah, I mentioned, look, Michael Brown, NBA lottery draft prospect, whatever. He was hitting some crazy threes. He also had a lot of open looks. So did Ryan Conwell. I think Ryan Conwell is an excellent basketball player. And I'm still a little bit salty that State couldn't reel him in 2 years ago. But, he hit 5 of 6 from downtown. I think the 5 that he hit, every single one of them was wide the blank open. Yeah. Like nobody within 15 feet.
Don't worry, Grayson. I got the sauces. Since we want to give up a 40-piece nugget, I got some extra sauces for the team.
Yeah. So, look, and one of the most constant things that we've had big struggles with is some of that perimeter defense at times. Like, it's so hot and cold. And Louisville is not a team that you can afford to be cold with because you got shooters like McNeely and Conwell. And in this case, Michael Brown, who's not even a great three-point shooter, but lit the entire state of Kentucky on fire tonight. Listen, like I said, for a game like this, like in a vacuum, I think it kind of is what it is, especially if you can rebound and see what you can do on Saturday. Because one of the most consistent things, not just for basketball, like this is kind of like an NC State tradition. And I'm not trying to be negative here, but something that we have witnessed for decades at NC State is the instance of a snowball loss, where one loss turns into 2, turns into 3, turns into 4. And then that's kind of where like the woe is me. We turn into Eeyore. We're done with that. We need to get rid of that mindset. So especially, coming off of a horrible, ugly loss like this one, how do you respond from that? Your next 2 games are at home. You're back home cooking. You get the Lenny popping again like you were on Saturday. You can beat Miami. You can beat the Dirty Foot Club. They're not untouchable. They beat Duke, and they're all high on themselves right now. How about we humble them? Then what? Then we're right back near the top of the standing. It's all right there on the table. So look, this loss, it can be just one loss if you make it just one loss. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's that Arkansas analogy that Kenton already gave you. It's just one game. You got so much more on the table if you keep the head up and refocus and get back in the lab here. So yeah, it sucks to get blown out on Monday. None of us wanted to see that happen. And there's no rationalization for getting spanked in that manner. But look, it's one game. You still got a tough road to hoe here. You got some big time games coming up. Majority of those are at home. How do you respond from that? That is what we will remember. Not so much a 40-point loss, but how do you respond from that, winning potentially some big games coming up? That is what we'll be talking about. More on this after a quick word from our sponsors. Stick with us. A couple more thoughts to get off here. Stick with us. All right, and our last sponsor here is TurboTax. Tax season doesn't have to take over your life. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever before to hand your things off and move about your day. With TurboTax full service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert from start to finish without the stress or guesswork. Instead of spending hours of your own time trying to figure out forms, you can meet with a local TurboTax expert in person or connect online. They'll handle everything for you. From W-2s to self-employed forms, they'll work to get you each and every deduction. It's a huge time saver. You'll get updates from your local expert right inside the app, and it gives you real peace of mind knowing that an expert is handling it. For a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150. If a TurboTax expert did not file for you last year, just make sure you file by February the 28th. Take taxes off of your plate and get back to living your life. Visit TurboTax.com/local to book your appointment today, only on TurboTax. All right, last couple minutes here, Monday evening. We appreciate each and every one of you for being with us through the highs and a low like this one, a 41-point loss on the road to Louisville Cardinals, 118-77. I want to throw back up a comment that I saw here. Stick with me. It was basically what I was just discussing. It's I hate when I do this. Where'd it go? I can't find it. But the gist of it is you have Miami at home coming up this weekend. Will Wade basically said the same thing. I just looked that he was that I was discussing on the front end of the ad break. How will you respond? How does this team internalize getting basically humiliated on live television? How do you let that push you forward this week? What kind of practice will you come home and have the remainder of the week? They don't play again until Saturday, so you kind of have what feels like almost like a bye week in a sense. How will you use that to get refocused, keep everything internal? You block out the noise. Don't let anybody tell you what you are or what you are not, because what matters is what you do this coming Saturday against Miami. Miami's another good team. They're a fringe tournament team. They're going to be just as hungry as we are, maybe if not more, depending on how the week goes for them. How will you respond to this? That's far more important than what happened tonight.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's a results-based business.
Yes.
That's it. We live in a results-based business, okay? There are certain industries, certain things where you can prioritize how people feel, what people care about, all that good stuff. Doesn't matter here. Doesn't matter. The end result, that final score, is going to be what it is. That's what this team is about. Point blank, period. This is what Will Wade was talking about earlier when he said we got a team full of nice guys. We got a team full of nice guys, but we're running a competitive basketball program. And he told the guys honest truth. What is the competitive integrity of this team? Because it's going to reveal itself. It's going to reveal itself. If you no-show against Miami, and this is – I want you to think about this because Grayson said it, and I want to reaffirm this. Tough road to hoe ahead. Okay, so we got Miami. And then after Miami, 3 of your next 4 are against top 15 teams.
Yep.
Huh? It's a results-based business. If we see more stinkers like this, and the only teams you can beat going down the stretch are Notre Dame and Stanford, what is that seeding? What does that do to your seeding, number one? Number 2, what does that do to your team's psyche? Number 3, what does that do to the goal of top 4 in the ACC? Because I think that we're at the point where we could say, even if you lose out, pretty sure you're in. Pretty sure you're in. I think I feel pretty good with that. I'm not saying this team will lose out. I'm not saying to find out whether or not we can lose out and be in. But
yeah, none of that.
But I would say, you can lose out and you're in. But the question is, how do you want to end this thing? How do you want to end it? How do you want to end it? What is it? What is it that you want this team to be? Do you want to be a team full of men that say, you know what? Things didn't go our way. We got our tails whooped, but we got more season ahead of us. It ain't been an undefeated national champion in quite some time. We got more season ahead of us. Or do you say, oh, well, things are tough. We got tough games. We got, oh, man. Hey, Grayson, Notre Dame's played a lot of teams tough. They played a lot of teams tough. Okari from over in Stanford, He may not be able to hit the broadside of a Walmart from deep, but I'm going to tell you, when he gets downhill, Grayson, he's a scary dude. He's those Cardinals. We clearly have trouble with bird mascots. Those are some scary guys. How do you want to finish this thing out? That's what this thing is about more than anything else, okay? And you know, you can look over here, you can look over there, you can say, well, this is, you know, I'm done with this season or whatever the case may be. There's tons of season left. And if you're inside that locker room, again, all of it is rat poison. Oh, you're so good, it doesn't matter that you don't rebound, rat poison. Oh, you're so terrible, it doesn't matter even if you do hit your shots. You can't beat Duke. You can't beat the Dirty Foot Club. You can't beat UVA, rat poison. All of it is rat poison. Lock in, focus, and do the step-by-step, the little things right so that you get the result that you want at the end of this.
Yeah. Well, how about we finish this thing on a positive note? Speaking of finishing the season or finishing a game the right way, Super Bowl champion Drake Thomas won on Sunday evening with the Seahawks. Humongous shout out to Drake Thomas. I obviously we can't forget about the other two-pack players that were on the Patriots, but not really fond of the quarterback that plays over there. Drake Thomas wins the Super Bowl with the Seattle Seahawks. What a story Drake Thomas has been, and somewhat of an undersized recruit. NC State picks him up and turns him into a monster here in Raleigh, one of Tony Gibson's prize linebacker, productions, you could call him that. For him to kind of be overlooked, especially going to the NFL as well. He had to suffer an injury. I think he tore his was it ACL a year or two ago, to work his way into a quasi-starter role at the Seahawks, and not just do that, but win the Super Bowl this year. I believe he was the third leading tackler the Seahawks last night on the biggest stage as well. Humongous shout out to Drake. Deserves all the accolades, all the recognition. Very happy for him and the Thomas family.
Who could have imagined, Grayson? Who could have imagined that both Drake Thomas and Peyton Wilson would translate to the NFL? Who
Color
could
me
have
shocked.
imagined? Oh, man, that guy's so short. That guy, he's too little. He's too small to get it done at a high level. And now look at him, one of the most productive linebackers and one of the most productive defenses in the NFL. Shout out to Drake. What a season. What an ending to that season. And once again, the real Drake from the state of North Carolina stood up. The one that claimed his school stood tall when it mattered. It may not be all good for the Pack, but damn it, we'll take a good thing when we got it.
You better believe it. So, tough night for NC State basketball. Sometimes you're the hammer, and other times you're looking down the barrel of the bazooka. And Louisville, they had the bazooka tonight. 118-77, a 41-point loss on the road. Wipe it. That will account for 0 points for the Miami Hurricanes on Saturday. 0-0 when that one tips off. Go get that, and you'll be right back in business. Thank you all so much for being with us here on a tough Monday night, tough loss to stomach. But as always, we're here through the good and the bad. Be sure to like this video, drop your comments in the comment box, mash the subscribe button if you have not already. We will catch you on Wednesday, as this is the Tuesday show. We'll see y'all then. Go Pack.
Go Pack.